What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we're going to be talking about something in my team, and I'm going to talk about it right now, and I'm going to just talk about it on this video, and I'm going to make sometime when I'm away for the next while, I'm going to make a full video on it, where I do, like, it's not just me talking into a camera, where it's an actual, like, breakdown of everything, and explain it in depth, and, like, plan it out, script it. And I'm going to title it NBA 2k23 MyTEAM, a failed experiment, and, like, explain the whole thing. But I'm just going to talk in this video about the one decision. For everyone looking for anything that's wrong with the game mode, there is one thing and one thing only that caused everything. There is one huge flaw, and it caused absolutely every negative in this game. There is not a negative that has not been caused by this one thing. And it's just a not very great thing as far as the game goes. The game mode goes, and I think that, again, this one negative caused a spiral. And a lot of people might like this thing in isolation, but I'm going to explain why this one thing, and I repeat, one thing is the reason for all the problems we have now content-wise. And I'm not saying gameplay-wise, because the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I love this content, by the way. I love the Bracket Buster set. Like, I absolutely love it. I think it's the best content. I think it's the best individual season content we've ever had. I actually do. I genuinely stand by that. I stand by that. You see, and we got diamonds, we got pink diamonds, then we got galaxy opals. I genuinely do think, you know the way 2K put in RNG cards to start Season 5? I think if Season 5 was called... if Season 5 was a Bracket Buster, and you see this Kareem set, if there was 2 of these, so we got 3 weeks of Kareem, and we got 3 weeks of somebody else, and these cards are kind of added in as extras. And then we had, for the 3 weeks before we got these Bracket Busters cards, that we got 5 sapphires, 5 rubies, and 5 amethysts. So we got one of them every single day. So it meant that we got the choice every single day, and then it built up to a week of diamonds, a week of pink diamonds, and a week of galaxy opals. I think that would be that would have been the greatest season of all time. I think they almost did it. I think these have been, as far as the 3 weeks go content-wise, the best 3 weeks of content we've ever had as far as free content in my team. I stand by that, and I'll make that argument again in a video that I'm actually going to record after this, but it'll be released before this. Because I do like talking about the game out of my team, and I think that's what I do best at this stage in the YouTube scene. But this pack right here had a Shaquille O'Neal, Lonzo, who's normally a hyped card, a Shaquille O'Neal, who's, again, normally a hyped card, with a 63 ball who can hit from the corners. So, again, a guy who's normally really hyped, the most hyped rookie in the game, and normally rookies work for the hype, and a Jonathan Bender guy that everybody loves. And a Jonathan Bender card that everybody thinks is the damn GOAT in this game. And the big issue with all of this is that nobody gives a damn. And let's just talk about why nobody gives a damn about Shaq. Nobody gives a damn about Shaq because last week they gave us Taco. And why did they give us Taco? Because they had to hype up out of position. Because if you take Taco out, it is out of position. No one's opening packs for Bill Russell or Jimmy Butler. Or even Şengün. So to get hype for these packs, by the way, there was no hype for these packs. They definitely sold way less of these packs than they expected, even though they had Shaq. To get hype for these packs, they had to put in Taco full. They had to put in Taco to get hype for these packs. And why did they need to put a Taco in to get hype? Because the week before, they gave us Kobe, who's, again, probably the most hyped player as far as the game goes for packs. And the week before that, they gave us Kristaps. And then the week before that, they gave us Tracy McGrady, who's the best player in the game. So they keep him to outdo it. So we got this, like, 6'8", and they made him a park player, by the way. We're not getting a better shooting guard till endgame than Tracy McGrady, or a noticeably better shooting guard. We might get a better one, not one that's going to be night and day better. Heck, you could give Tracy McGrady the best SIGs in the game, the Bahark SIGs, 99 every single stat, and 64 Hall of Fame badges, and he's not going to be night and day better in this card. So, you have that, and you've got The and then why they had to release Tracy McGrady was because in Season 4, we got All-Star packs, which again, they're hyped because they're All-Star. Alternate Reality was a kind of cool concept. And again, these are like this is their banker pack sales, and this is their like creativity. And then this, they sold a lot of Stellar packs because they juiced the odds. I don't think they probably didn't sell many Cosmic packs. And then we got Yao. We got Yao in January. The second week of Season 4, we got Yao Ming, which really was not the greatest thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie, going and getting ourselves a Yao Ming card. And you might be saying, why do we need a Yao Ming? Because 2K needed to sell packs. Because they need to catch up on pack sales, and everything comes down to the fact that they weren't selling packs early. People probably bought Limitless packs, but by the time we hit Timeless, people weren't buying packs for Worlds. And by the time we hit Destroyer, people definitely weren't buying packs. And oh, don't get me started on Unstoppable. These cards were mil MT despite the fact they sucked because no one was opening packs. And do you want to know why no one opened packs early in the game? This right here. The trophy case. So, let me explain the reasons why the trophy case ruined everything. And I mean everything. So, if we went to trophy case rewards, especially as we went to Season 2 and 3. So, as we went to Season 2 and 3, you didn't have to spend that much time to go and get yourself... Let's just say, if you wanted to get Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis, which I think is what everyone did. Which is what a lot of people did. So, if you wanted to get Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis, you guys basically had... So to get these guys, where are they? So 80. You got Elton Brand, who was obviously a really good early game card. When people chose these guys early games, I'm not even going to say trophy case affected too much early on in the game, because you could get like 5 of these. But let's just say you had James Worthy. There was no need to replace James Worthy till like, because he was better in every small forward in packs until Tim Thomas. So what people did was they get James Worthy, and then no matter what small forward came out in packs, it didn't matter. They didn't need them because they had James Worthy. And then AD was the best power forward in the game till probably January. So people just weren't even buying packs for power forwards. And then people weren't buying... Basically, these cards here were so good. 10 Hall of Fame badge cards. That when people were getting their pink diamonds here, they were like, oh, I'm sorted for shooting guard. I don't need to buy a new shooting guard. So they weren't buying their shooting guards. They weren't buying any players. And what was happening is that because these packs were coming out, especially because they were underwhelming, 2K had to go better and better. So Season 1, we didn't see anything crazy in the power creep. Season 2, however, we got a glitch set on Tuesdays. A glitch set on Tuesdays. So we were seeing all these God tier glitch cards. Like at the time, Ray Allen was God tier. And then Hakeem was God tier. Dwight Howard was God tier. Like they had to give us glitched players in Season 2 and glitched Hakeem and Dwight. Like Nightmare, they started giving us 3 pink diamonds on the first day of Nightmare. And then with that, they had to go in for a special, give us a option to buy a Paul George. And there was the Pioneer set. Don't get me started on the Pioneer set, where we had Tim Thomas and a Kareem that was still used in 250k like 4 months later. So then, the next week was Dreamer, where they needed to give us a Ricky Davis. And then after Dreamer was main event, where people only cared about Magic Johnson. And then for Transcendent, Penny Hardaway. So they were constantly giving us, and Penny was way better than last year. All these guys, by the way, were better than their cards last year. So what 2K had basically set was, by the end of November, they were giving us cards on day 1 that were as good as Christmas and other years. And what ended up happening was, to get people to open packs, they have to be better than the cards already in the game. So 2K had to constantly outdo themselves in packs. Except instead of trying to outdo themselves from Christmas, where you have, let's be real, from May onwards, every card does everything well. So you had to realistically, instead of pacing from Christmas to May, they had to do that same amount of pacing from September to May. So 3 months extra of content while trying to reach the same start point and the same end point. And what they did, though, was they screwed up in the middle. Because the timeline should have been from September to December is from September to May. to get from point A to point B instead of from December to May getting from point A to point B. So you obviously have to start putting stuff in earlier, throwing stuff in earlier. And it's why we got a Yao Ming 4 months earlier than he should have been in a game where height is all that matters. And in the only way, and it's the reason why we've had to have Eaton. We're going to probably see a Ralph Sampson next week in the free cards. People need to be able to compete. They unfortunately do. They unfortunately do. So it is just every single bad decision in this game, by the way. And again, it's one of the issues with Moments cards. So the reason why nobody's interacting with Moments cards, the reason why no one's interacting with a lot of free content. And they've done like 4 different things with Moments cards. And one of the things was just stop giving them out. But they've done a bunch of different things with Moments cards. And do you want to know the reason why we're not interacting with Moments cards this year, even though in other years we did? Because they don't matter anymore. Like, when Mitchell came out cool, he was good. When Dame came out, I wouldn't say he was great. But like, say when in other years, if they gave us a 95 overall Moments card, people would have still got the card. People would have still maybe not owned packs from them. They would have got the card and they might have used them. The issue is that when this card came out early in the year, like, it's not like this card came out later on in the year. Like, Cam Thomas was early February, the very start of February. They just did nothing. Or the card didn't mean anything, because even though he went to an opal and he got good 6, he was just too little. And the only reason he was too little, normally people are like, oh, but like, you can use small guys early in the year. You couldn't, because they gave us Cade Cunningham early in the year. They gave us Magic. They gave us a God tier Magic and a really good Penny really early in the year. And we had Magic and Penny by Thanksgiving. So like 6'3" point guards were useless by Thanksgiving. They blew their load so early this year. And everyone's saying like, oh, why did we get these cards so early? There's one reason and one reason only why we got these cards so early. And it is a trickle down to the trophy case. The trophy case cards were so good. 10 Hall of Fame badge pink diamonds in packs. Or there were 10 Hall of Fame badge pink diamonds. We didn't get 10. We normally don't get 10 Hall of Fame pink diamonds in packs. Especially in 22. We didn't get a 10 Hall of Fame pink diamond card till Christmas. It was the Kobe and Magic set. Was the first time we saw 10 Hall of Fame badge pink diamond. And there were 96 overalls. So nobody was opening for 95 overalls when you could get free 96 overalls. And then especially because you could get free Galaxy Opals in Jimmy and AD. So as time went on, 2K had to start going wacky. They had to give us Tim Thomas. They had to give us Ricky Davis in packs. And those Tim Thomas and Ricky Davis cards, those SIGs, what they did with them, should have honestly not been seen till like January, February. But with cards with those type of SIGs, with Oscar Robertson upper and good dribbling, those cards should have been in the game, but they should have been given to small point guards early in the game so the small point guards can have their time. But the issue is that we went into a giant meta in 2K23 so early. Like Kristaps and Kareem. Those guys were the giant meta early in the year. And the reason why those cards had to come out months earlier than they should have been, like Kristaps is as good as the card from January when he came out in November, is because 2K had to keep outdoing themselves. If 2K weren't consistently outdoing themselves in content, no one was opening packs. If no one's opening packs, 2K aren't making money. So everything is a case of you got to plan for a year of progression. Everything has to be planned for as a year of progression. If there's no progression in players, if the progression of the game mode is off, like cards need to be consistently better. Like it's not crazy if, for example, intensity cards are better than silencers cards. Or even if a card from intensity is still really good for unstoppable. But what is the issue is when a card from Pioneers is better than every single card in Season 3. Halfway through Season 2. Or a card from Dreamer is better than every single card from Season 3. Like, that's where the issue is. The issue is where this guy right here is the best center in the game 2.5 months after he comes out, and I can guarantee you for another month, maybe 2 months. The only cards that will be better than Yao Ming as center, the way this game is played, by the way, the only cards that will be better than him are Dark Matter Yao, Dark Matter Taco, Dark Matter Simbular, Dark Matter Mirasan, Dark Matter Sean Bradley. That's it. Or maybe they give Galaxy Opal to some of those guys. Maybe they give them a better release or better dribbling or better speed. Like it is impossible for a 7'4" or smaller player, for a 7-3 or smaller player to be as good as Yao Ming at center. It is an impossibility. And we got this card in January. And then because they gave Yao Ming in January, and everyone's hyping up their Yao, the issue is, where because Yao is the best for so many weeks, is that 2K have to keep outdoing themselves. The initial hype of the Dark Matters was there for All-Stars, but now that's gone. They had to go and give us a point, or like a play shot 6-8 in T-Mac. And then all of a sudden, by Phenoms, they give us a really good set of cards, but no broken cards, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, because everyone's like, oh, but it's your fault. The comp me, you want these cards. No, we don't. Like, why would anyone want to use Shaq? And I'm being dead serious. Unless you are a Shaquille O'Neal fan, you specifically want to use Shaq. If you are talking about actually, Mark Eaton's better than Shaquille O'Neal. He just is. So why would anyone want to use this card? And I think in other years, like for example, had 2K, obviously they gave us the Galaxy Opal Shaq early. But let's just say in another world where 2K are actually hitting their pack sale targets, they don't have to release this Yao Ming. And then if they don't release this Yao Ming, then they don't have to release a T-Mac. I think they have to release a T-Mac to, like, I don't know, they don't have to release a T-Mac because they don't feel like he's the like the be-all and end-all card. So they don't feel like they have to release the T-Mac. And then if they don't release that T-Mac, who knows, maybe Radiant could have been Shaquille O'Neal. And they obviously the David Robinson's better than Shaq anyway. Let's say Radiant was Shaquille O'Neal and somebody else, and a Dwayne Wade. Then there's hype there still. But if they released, or even if it was Shaq and Lonzo instead of these two guys, and then they progressed it a little bit to maybe give us a Dark Matter or a Galaxy Opal Yao in these packs. Or not in these packs. In these packs. We get the Galaxy Opal Yao now. Sure, he's still going to be the best center in the game, but it's a little bit more acceptable seeing that in March than seeing that in the middle of January. And you've got Phenoms, where maybe Phenoms is where you put in Tracy McGrady and David Robinson. And then you're like, okay, that's good progression. Them cards are a beast. Those cards are still as hyped, but they don't have the side effect of making every future drop not hyped. It's a big thing. They blew their load so early this year, and it's a big flaw. And the biggest flaw of it all, it's everything content-wise, because I don't think a lot of people are interacting with a lot of free content. I don't think a lot of people are interacting with a lot of stuff. And the reason why people aren't interacting with a lot of stuff is because cards you can get in packs that are really cheap are better. And the reason why cards you can get for cheap are better is because everything has progressed from a system that should not have been implemented the way it was. Cards were too good too soon. The trophy case has been the single worst thing in my team. I've talked for 17 minutes about this one thing. The kind of breakdown video will be a lot shorter, but this is my thoughts on why the trophy case is the worst thing we've ever had in my team.